thing on our website. I think she's 82 years old, and she wants to donate all these natural things that you want to save now from Phragmites to the museum. Can you imagine that? That was just happened to be this morning at the museum. So it was very coincidental. She's very happy with your work. She can't believe what you guys are doing. She'd like to meet you. But anyways, a very interesting lady. But what this leads me to is, she was talking about the fact of how this stuff impacts us. Has there been any economic study done? Because I guess we see the costs when you read the report, etc. We've had the discussions here, as you well know, Nancy, for how many years. I remember seeing Janice at a program 9 years ago with the lamplighter when you first did that.
When I was this big.
When you were that big, yes. And this has been a slow go. We were leading right now, but we're still in that same catch-22 situation where the funding, where does it come from, etc. I'm just, you know, it's okay, for an example, when you say Woods Drive, when I saw the thing, I said to myself, well, what is the economic cost? We never talk about environmental economic cost for losing natural beauty. This lady at the museum this morning, she obviously knows what that means. We live in a place that this is what we're here for, right? And we probably have a good reason to leave the province because of that fact. So has there ever been an economic analysis done about what it does take from us? Because we know looking at it, but do you know of any?
Not specifically to Phragmites, but you know, there's a new field of research looking at this, giving ecological services a dollar value. So if somebody wants to put a shopping mall where a wetland is, they can kind of do the economic balancing, what we lose.
So there is some literature out there, some work, right?
There definitely is. You know, and some people say, why do we have to put, like, the economic model is so anti-environment. It goes against everything that we need to survive as a society.
See, I understand that, but I also live in a practical world where we have to answer funding questions. And when you're going after granting, you can't talk that language.
I know you can't.
You have to combine it with a little bit of
maybe
that
someday
economic.
we could. Maybe
Yeah,
someday
I know.
we'll get there. But yeah, I understand your question. So, I mean, there could be a study done in your area, and, you know, what's the impact to your economy because people don't want to come to your beaches anymore because they're all covered in Phragmites. They aren't, but they could be. And if you go up the highway there to Kincardine, it's having a massive impact on lakeshore property values and recreational opportunities. And so that's something that they can quantify, and I'm sure you could quantify if you lost your shoreline to Phragmites, what that would cost you.
Yeah. So I don't think we need a study. I think common sense would dictate what you're saying. But I think when you're answering a grant request or something, or you're going for one, sometimes you have to use language in such a way that it encourages their thinking that way. So obviously the stuff's there to write about that, right?
Yes, it is.
Thank you
Maybe
very much.
you could do that in your spare time.
Thank you.
Deputy Mayor, again, are you going to make the recommendation here that we receive it and refer it to the budget?
I certainly could. That's.
Okay. You have another question? Go
I do
ahead.
have another question too, actually. If I could just ask you before you leave, you know, first of all, how much I appreciate you too. You're amazing. I just wanted to ask you two things. How much time do you think would be required for a program coordinator? Do you have any estimation of how much time? And secondly, the second part to that question, are either of you willing to be considered for such a role?
I just want to help somebody.
If somebody else.
If somebody's
Okay.
hired, I would love to do that. I'm not giving up, but I'm getting tired. Our group would definitely provide support to someone in that position.
Great, thank you. How much time do you think would be required?
I think if I look at the hours that Nancy's put in and what would be required to keep this going, it's a full-time job. Yes, it is. I would say so.
Okay, follow up.
Yes, through you, again to Janice and to Nancy. Just wondering, now I understand that in our interactions about approaching Bev Shipley, that there are basically 3 requests we're looking for. Just wondering, would you be supportive of us in developing a motion that we actually sent out to all 444 municipalities, and not just to provincial and federal governments, and ask them to support a motion like this as well. And those who have a pragmatic problem may actually step up to the plate as well and send letters to the federal and provincial governments. We're one of only 444, so just wondering what your thoughts are, whether you'd like to refer that information to this council and it could be part of a request to all municipalities.
That would be absolutely wonderful. I think that's really going to be the final push that we're going to need. Because if you see the response letters from the Premier right now, as Carola's agricultural minister, she said, well, she puts it back to municipalities. So I think once the municipalities say, we want this, if she can't do that anymore, she's going to have to react at some point. So I think that would really help. I'm not saying there's a negative towards her. I just don't think that she's been given a lot of the information she needs to have to make this decision. I think she's been told it's going to cost too much and it's not going to make a difference anyway. So that's my opinion. So I think that would be wonderful. I think it would be huge help.
Okay, Councilor Russell has made a motion for the recommendation.
With a small change, I don't have my pad here, Mr. Mayor.
There's one right there.
Just,
We haven't adopted that yet.
anyways,
What's the small changes?
just something about strategy. What they were deciding, you've got to look at their report, not just with financial implications. It goes to what the Bev Shipley. There's advocation, and it has to be prioritized before budget implications. It may be that there's things that we can undertake in concert with them right now without budget implications that we could be getting onto. So I think it needs to be strategized and prioritized and then put to the 2015 budget. Does that make sense to you? So I don't know how to rewrite that, because we've got to keep working on those initiatives that they've started.
Do you like to add words of strategize and organize?
Something like that. You don't mind, sir?
Second by Councilor Scott. Deputy Mayor Dan.
Yes, through you to John. John, just wondering, are you willing to strip out the initiative of writing the letter, stripping that out, a letter of support for the efforts they're making at the federal
Yes,
provincial
let's get rid
government
of it.
as a separate initiative, because that can be done right away, right? And we don't have to wait till a strategy is all developed for the next stage. I'd love to see that happen quickly, because and there's no financial implications to that.
Pass one first and then just pass another.
Okay, very good.
Maybe three.
Perhaps we can deal with that with the motion later on in the
Just
agenda.
a point of order, I think before we send the letter out, let's decide on noxious weed designation, and maybe that's the letter.
That would be part of that discussion and whether there's an amendment.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
An amendment to that motion to send it to all municipalities as well for support. So, all in favor of the recommendation?
Thank you, ladies.
That's carried. Thank you. Public distinct clarification. We got a couple minutes. We're not going to. We're not going to deal with our confidential business before we break for dinner. We've had 2.25 hours. Mr. Speaker, clarification on white items.
On motions rising from the floor, or four.
Motions rising from the floor.
Just a question of clarification. The municipality records your meetings? Yes. Okay. I was just wondering why there's a problem trying to figure out the clarification of motions if we've got the meetings recorded. I think it's a good idea that you have a sign if there's any changes in the motion, but if it's recorded, why is there a problem?
I don't understand what you're asking clarification on. Because sometimes the motions go on without a real clear direction.
So we can have them read back so we understand.
You can read them back on the recording and still not understand what they really mean.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay? We're going to break now and we're going to reconvene at 6 o'clock with the Court of Revision for the Mud Creek Drain. We'll continue on with our agenda following. We'll do the confidential business at the end of the meeting.